If I was asked to pick my all-time favourite crime novel, I'm not sure I'd be able to choose one. Probably my answer would be different every day of the week.
Has to be The Silence of the Lambs. It just has everything. It has the psychological elements to it. It has the forensic science with the great moth analysis. Just the characters are so good, and the villain is so villainous.
Silence of the Lambs. I wonder how many people will say this. It's a popular one, but I don't know, I think I first read it when I was about 12. I went to boarding school, so you could basically get your hands on anything you wanted. It was the first book to truly terrify me, and I think it's just written exceptionally well. And I love the relationship between Clarice and Hannibal. I think it's genius. So
probably Red Dragon, I think, by Thomas Harris.
The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie, which has one of the biggest twists of all time, and because it was written in 1926, was probably utterly original. I've never come across anything written beforehand that was as good. It's a superb, really cleverly crafted crime novel. A brilliant, brilliant ending.
Is Misery by Stephen King. I said that in a really non-miserable way.
Probably The Straw Men by Michael Marshall. The trilogy, The Lonely Dead, Blood of Angels, they're all brilliant. And I've actually reread The Straw Men loads of times, even though I know the ending. And I think that must be the mark of a really good thriller. It's like, I know the ending, I know the twists, but I will still reread it because I love the writing.
Probably Gone Girl.
I would have to say Jaws is my all-time favourite crime novel, because for me it's like a serial killer book, but the serial killer is a shark.
The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I read that when I was in high school, and I loved it so much.
The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins.
Falling Angel by Herman, name I can't pronounce. And I read it and it changed my life. It starts off as a detective novel and turns into a gothic novel, and it's not even really that good. It won the Edgar, but it affected me profoundly because it's a crime novel, but it's so much more.
It's American Tabloid by James Ellroy. Basically the story of the Kennedy assassination, a sort of a fictionalised account of that, but it's a very complex, densely plotted story with multiple points of view, and very, very layered. It's a book I think I've read twice, I think, so far, and I may well read it a third time. It's one of those books you can come back to because there's so much to it.
L.A. Confidential by James Ellroy.
This is a slightly difficult one because I started off writing comics and fantasy and science fiction, and I still consider myself to be a fantasy author. I've written a fantasy series which Penguin have also published. That tends to be my go-to read rather than crime fiction. My favourite crime book would probably be Guards by Terry Pratchett, which is not strictly speaking in the genre, but I still think Sam Vimes is probably one of the best fictional coppers out there. And Terry Pratchett's books are just such brilliant satire, and his social commentary is so subtle and so sharp. I absolutely love those books.